Science fiction is the realm of what-ifs, imagine-thats, and maybes. As such, it's about the most eclectic genre around, making picking the best sci-fi movies of all time a Herculean-sized task. Here you'll find comedies, horror-tinged nightmares, technologically powered adventure romps, with all of them representing the best that this most varied and thoughtful genre has to offer. Oh, and for the purposes of not making tough choices even tougher, and because some sci-fi stories really are best when you take a whole series into account, we've allowed certain sequel and trilogy combos to sit in a single entry. Don't you dare make us pick between Terminator movies. So here are the best sci-fi movies to watch right now. Atmospheric works of deep cyberpunk intelligence and profound emotional impact, Blade Runner is simply amazing. Exploring questions of precarious humanity in an increasingly nihilistic, synthetic, commodified universe, while also pondering what real humanity even is, they're a stunning combined experience. The first film tells a tight but philosophically weighty detective story of a man investigating out of his existential depth, while 2049 continues to explore a world gone past the point of no return, digging into even deeper, sadder, and potentially more beautiful material, all while maintaining steadfast continuity with its predecessor. Both are mind-blowing individually, but together they're a work of rare wonder. Dispel the notion that Back to the Future is a film and a couple of sequels. In truth, it's one long, 7-hour movie of playful complexity and giddy creativity. The first film's twisting, looping, self-aware causality is a fantastic feat of writing, pacing, and wit, but the sequels then continue to riff, repeat, and reverberate over a whole century of time-jumping adventure. It's precision-engineered sci-fi. But for all of that, it's the small-scale, human factor that makes Back to the Future so good. Where other sci-fi movies will hinge everything on galactic conquest and the saving of entire worlds, the stakes in Back to the Future never get bigger than protecting one family and maintaining a friendship. And it's all played so wonderfully by its versatile cast that you'll regularly forget that half the trilogy's characters are actually the same people. Staring into its nature as the darker, more complex part with furious gusto, The Empire Strikes Back elevates the adventure, characterization, and universe building that define A New Hope, and explodes everything with deeper, richer, more dramatic power. From the opening spectacle of the Battle of Hoth through to the atmospheric soul-searching of Luke's training on Dagobah, to the final revelations and confrontations of Bespin, Empire is a barrage of cinematic scale, all anchored by vibrant and affecting humanity throughout. Also, Luke sleeps in Wampa guts and gets a robot arm, so that's cool as well. Allowing each entry its own identity and unique take on the core material, and wrapping it all around a hell of a 3-film character arc for Sigourney Weaver's Ripley, the Alien trilogy excels in blending profound, unknowable cosmic dread with real, believable, everyday human grit. Taking Ripley from desperate survivor to vengeful warrior, and then on further to the morose, emotional stock-taking and character drama fallout of Alien 3, the series is an all-time great for reasons that go beyond even the legendary visual design and atmosphere its reputation is founded on. Taking a 50s sci-fi classic and evolving it into a hard-hitting, emotionally pounding, existential body horror poem, David Cronenberg's remake of The Fly is a clear career highlight for its director and its brilliant cast, headed up by Jeff Goldblum and Geena Davis. Small, personal, nightmarish, and intimate, The Fly is as thoughtful and affecting as it is viscerally horrifying. Detailing teleportation scientist Seth Brundle's physical and mental descent after a tragic splicing accident with a household insect, it's a film with focused, stage play scale and near operatic dramatic power. In fact, it was actually later adapted into an opera, and the fact that it could be doesn't remotely feel like a stretch. Joel and Clementine meet on a train and are immediately drawn to each other, unaware that they had their memories of each other erased after their first attempt at a relationship collapsed. Following their romantic history in reverse, as Joel's memory of the whole episode is torn down around him during the erasure process, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a warm, sad, intelligent, but ultimately hopeful examination of human nature and relationships. It also takes time to explore the potential of its concept much further and wider than its core story. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is near flawless human sci-fi with a purpose. The first Terminator is as tense, oppressive, and relentlessly claustrophobic a film as you could like, deftly combining the slasher genre with the road movie to create one hell of an uncomfortable sci-fi mood piece. It has a razor-sharp instinct for pacing and impactful economy. What's more, Terminator 2 is a masterclass in going bigger and more mainstream without losing the core essence. Warmer and lighter in some ways, Terminator 2 nonetheless maintains all the thick, weighty atmosphere that made the first film so compelling, while delivering some of the coolest action direction around. And in the steely, no prisoners taken evolution of Sarah Connor, it also drops one of the 2 best character arcs on this list. More on the other one soon. The debate over whether it's the best Star Wars film rages on, but wherever you rank it, Star Wars The Last Jedi is one of the most intelligently conceived films in the entire canon. Burning down the limitations and tropey safety nets of the series' long-standing mythology, and making the necessary evolution a key theme of its own narrative, The Last Jedi is a powerful and blindsidingly brave film, jarring at first, but ultimately making total sense in terms of both characterization and philosophy. Best or not, it's easily the most mature and self-aware Star Wars film, and its intelligence leads to some of the most potently affecting moments in the whole series. Total Recall is another textbook example of the blood, brawn, and brains formula that made so much 80s and 90s sci-fi so damn good. Very, very loosely adapting a short story by original Blade Runner author Philip K. Dick, this is a bold and physical sci-fi action blockbuster as you could ever want. It's peak action Schwarzenegger distilled into a single, explosive Technicolor package, but being another one from RoboCop director Paul Verhoeven, it's also far smarter than it needs to be. Come for the garish prosthetics and hard-hitting violence, and stay for the mind-bending existential pondering. One of the best action/horror hybrids of its decade on paper, Predator should just not be as good as it is. The tale of burly Marines hunted by a monster in the jungle has B-movie written all over it, but with die-hard director John McTiernan wrangling the charisma of its hulking, Arnie-led cast, it's a minor masterpiece. Claustrophobic, tense, and surprisingly refined despite the high level of 80s gore, Predator is an atmospheric, character-driven sci-fi horror that stays fresh no matter how many times you watch it. So those are the 10 best sci-fi movies to watch right now. Let us know which one's your favourite in the comments below, click the box on the left for more content from us, and don't forget to hit that big button in the middle for more news, reviews, previews and features right here on GamesRadar.